नमो नमः श्री नृपालिमौली व्रजरत्नकान्ति सरिद्विराजत् शतन्यकाभ्याम् Peace and blessings. I am Ra Ab Rima, one whose life force is one with the laws of God and is at peace. Welcome. Today we're going to go over Rashi, birth chart of Black America for the full moon in Aries. This will be a very short dissertation just to explain some key points and elements as far as how to understand the celestial intelligence that governs our progress and failures in life. Planetary. Okay. I'm going to share. Birth chart and Gochara. Gochara means transits of Black America. October 17th, 2024. We're going to go through some key elements. First, want to know what cycle is Black America in. And currently we're in a Moon Mahadasha, a Venus Bhukti, and Jupiter Subdasha. Moon, Venus, Jupiter are the main planets that are going to trigger events in the common welfare of Black America. So today happens to be Purnima, the full moon. However, this full moon is gandanta. Gandanta meaning it is 0 degrees between a fire and water sign, which creates a spiritual knot, right? Gandanta means spiritual knot. Okay. The most important planet to look at is Sun and Moon during this transit, right? So we'll look at the Sun is here. Okay. It is debilitated in the sign of Libra, and the Moon is here, right, being impacted by Black America's K2 and Moon. Okay. So this is a 612 axis, a very dilapidated access in the world of Jyoti or Vedic astrology. Right? 6 is enemies, right? This is enemies in health, right? And this is the underworld, losses, ashrams. Primarily, we could call this a house of losses where things go to transition to the other world. This is the other world, the dream state, right? Moksha, what we call spiritual liberation. Can Black America achieve that moksha? That's indicated in the chart. Heaven knows. Okay, so what's important, what we want to key in is that on this particular full moon, you'll see that the full moon is directly happening on Black America's natal moon. What is a natal moon? Natal moon means that where your planets were placed at the time of conception, at the day of its birth. Okay, so the moon is placed here in the 12th house. It's conjunct with Ketu. Okay, I have discussed this before about Ketu being the cutting element of the mind, where the mind doesn't think on the mundane plane, right? Okay, so the full moon, as you see, is happening directly on the natal moon. So this is going to trigger uh, a couple of events, right? Primarily, what my person looks at is where's the sign of Cancer? Hmm? Cancer is 1, 2, 3, 4. Cancer is in the third house of Black America's Rashi chart. Okay. This is the first house. This is the second house. This is the third house. This is Taurus 2, Gemini 3, Cancer 4. Okay. What is the third house in Black America? It's communication. It's siblings. It's hands, right? It's courage, right? Right? Does Black America have courage? Courage to fulfill its destiny. And then we look at where the full moon is taking place in the 12th house of secrecy, hidden enemies, losses. Okay. So this could trigger losses, right? It could trigger losses here in the third house of communication and younger people, right? We say Black America could lose some of its younger people, be it politically or physically. It could create those losses associated with Ashvini Kumars. Okay. Ashvini Kumars is the nakshatra that the moon is placed in, along with K2. Okay. Ashvini Kumars are the two horses, right? The two horses, the healing aspect. Uh, it's a healing star or a healing lunar mansion. Okay. So from right here, there's quite a bit going on. Okay. So we have a debilitated sun, and then we have right here, Mercury also at play during this full moon, where the intellect, Mercury is the intellect of what? The intellect of what Black America values and the intellect of Black America's progeny, right? The values, the income, savings, right? This comes into play, right? At the injunction or the collocation of the full moon. Okay. What's also being activated is, once again, the Pitradosh. Anytime this access is activated, right, you're going to activate the Pitradosh of Saturn and Rahu, which is a curse of the forefathers, curse of one's ancestors. So it could bring back karmic events that are related to karma, right? Things that happened 5,000, 10,000 years ago, right? Coming back, right, into full play. It could be things that happened in the 1700s during slavery, coming back around, right, to revisit Black America. Okay. So now with the 12th house being activated, this could bring more malefic effects than beneficial. Why? Because of the yogas in the chart. Mercury, Buddha, is combust, right? It's too close to the sun. And then it's activating Saturn and Rahu in the Pitradosh. another picture dosh over here with K2 in the moon. Okay, so something extraordinarily karmic is taking place within the 2 week period of the full moon. It gets much more complex as we see Mars right here is moving from one sign to another. Mars is moving from Gemini to Cancer. Okay. And as it makes that transition, when it enters Cancer, Mars becomes debilitated. So this creates another conundrum of unexpected, hidden uh, events for Black America's K2 moon conjunction that's been activated through the full moon in the 12th house. Okay. So that's October 20th. Mars will move into the sign of Cancer where it is debilitated, and this could create war like actions, warlike stance in the Black community because of Mars's debilitation associated with its moon, right? K2 is a Martian node, southern node of the moon. So K2 and Mars are analyzed together. Whenever you analyze Mars, you analyze K2. When you analyze K2, you analyze Mars. So I want to go through the story of the Ashvini twins. Right? I'm going to go over, the story as it pertains to Black America, in which you can see the Vedas repeating themselves, right, throughout the lifespan of Black America. This is called The Secret of Madhu Vidya, Science of Sweetness. It appears from the legend of Indra and Namusi that the Ashvinis possess great knowledge of soma. They skillfully formulate a concoction of soma mixed with surah and miraculously heal Indra. So effective is the potion that Indra's body is magically rewoven and his strength, courage, and mainly vigor are restored. How is it that the Ashvinis have such knowledge of soma? That's the question for Black America. How is it that we have this knowledge? One day, the Ashvinis get wind that Sage Dad Yak is privy to certain knowledge about the sacrifice and the means for immortality. Greatly intrigued, they approach the sage and insist that he reveal his wisdom. For reasons not explained, the Rig Veda, Dad Yak is worried that his head will be severed should he speak his secret to the Ashvinis. As we discover later on, this is not a baseless fear. So it's interesting that we're talking about a head being severed, whereas K2, which is a co-ruler of Ashvini, right, is a decapitated body. It's a body without the head. That's K2. No mistakes made. To avoid such calamity, the Ashvinis use their expert surgical skills to replace Dadyak's head with that of a horse so that he can safely reveal the knowledge. Hence, it is truly from the horse's mouth that the twins learned Dadyak's secret. Soma is the vehicle for ascension, that mighty deed of yours, for gain, O heroes, Ashvinis, as thunder heralded the rain, I publish. When the horse's head, Arthvan's offspring, Dadya, made known to you the Soma's sweetness. Again, we're talking about the science of sweetness. Okay? This is the power of Ashwini and how it has to be implemented as a tool of empowerment for Black America. The Yajur Veda offers few details to the Yigvedic lore. Hence, we must return to that fateful day when Vishnu's head is severed from his body. Recall that the gods, desperate to discover the way of sacrifice, devise a contest. Vishnu wins the contest, and the gods declare, Yajnova Vishnu. Vishnu is the sacrifice. Yajnova Vishnu. But soon his head is struck by his own bow and arrows. Interesting. Again, we're talking about the severing of the head and the definition of Ketu being the body without the head. So now we're talking about Ashvini, the mind of Black America. Vishnu's decapitated body is sprawled across the sacrificial grounds. Hoping to obtain Vishnu's glory, all the gods rush towards him. Being the first to arrive, Indra quickly soaks up the fluid, Shakti, oozing from Vishnu's headless trunk. In this way, Indra obtains the knowledge and glory of the sacrifice earlier secured by Vishnu. Henceforth, Indra is acclaimed the deity of the sacrifice. Meanwhile, the other gods continue to toil and worship, hoping they too will discover the means for ascension. Witnessing the tragic outcome of the contest contrived by the gods, Dadyak professes to Indra that he is intimate with such matters. Now it is in Indra's best interest that Dadyak not share his knowledge with the other gods, for then they too shall possess the glory of the sacrifice. Thus Indra threatens Dadyak that his own head will be severed should he reveal his knowledge of Soma. Interesting. Interesting. Let's listen to that again as it pertains to the Black community, Black America. Witnessing the tragic outcome of the contest contrived by the gods, Dadyak professes to Indra that he is intimate with such matters. Now it is in Indra's best interest that Dadyak not share his knowledge with other gods, for then they too shall possess the glory of the sacrifice. Thus Indra threatens Dadyak that his own head will be severed should he reveal his knowledge of Soma. Interesting insert as it pertains to the moon of Black America. This passage is talking about the inability of the community to share with one another the accomplishments and wisdom and sciences freely without coming from a threatening, right, position, right? They don't want everyone to have the Soma, right? This is all about Soma in the Black community. You could put that in different forms from spiritual to mundane. The Soma could be a job, right? It could be, right, a priesthood, right? The Soma is protected in the way that Dadyak professes to Indra that is intimate with such matters, right? And Indra threatened Dadyak to not share his knowledge with the community. Huh? This is the essence of what is wrong with Black America. It so happens that the Ashvinis wander by the sacrificial grounds and overhear Indra's threat. Here the story intersects with the Rig Veda. They approach Dadyak themselves, wishing to learn his wisdom, explaining that his life is at stake. Dadyak denies the Ashvinis their request. It is at this point that the Ashvinis call upon their medical acumen to remove Dadyak's head and replace it with the head of a horse, Ashvini. The horse's mouth reveals the divine knowledge of Soma, straight from the horse's mouth. After which the twins replace the horse's head with Dadyak's own. In this way, the Ashvinis become reputed for their knowledge of Soma, and as well for their expertise in attaching the head of an animal to the trunk of a body. One might wonder how a sage comes to know of the mysterious Soma, knowledge that Vishnu and the other gods toil so greatly to obtain. According to the Rig Veda, it seems Tavester is the likely source. Ye brought the horse's head, Ashvinis, and gave it unto Dadya, the offspring of Arthvan. True, he revealed to you, O wonder works, the knowledge of sweet Soma, Tavastar's secret. Thus, the remaining scattered fragments of the legend come together. Twaniter. Tavastar displays unusual knowledge about Soma on several occasions. He fashions the first sacrificial vessel capable of holding the sacred drought, thus allowing the gods to partake of Soma libation. For his ingenious ways, Tavastar is allowed to safeguard the bowl and the Soma at his abode. He also demonstrates his unusual skill of altering the nature of Soma, bewitching a batch of it for Indra. Thus, it appears that Tavastar may have been the first amongst the gods to discover Soma, as well as being the source of Dadyak's knowledge. Now, privy to Dadyak's secret, the twins also possess knowledge of Soma in a manner consistent with their nature. The Ashvinis freely distribute the divine nectar to all worshippers desirous of spiritual liberation, moksha. Again, we can connect this to K2 and also the 12th house of Black America, reincarnation of Tavastar. Okay? Now, privy to Dadyar's secret, the twins also possess knowledge of Soma in a manner consistent with their nature. The Ashvinis freely distribute the divine nectar to all worshippers desirous of spiritual liberation. Again, the scriptures, the scriptures allegorically compare Soma to honey, the sweetest of nature's gifts. Thus, the Ashvinis are likened to honeybees, like toiling bees, yet bring to us your honey as bees into the beehive that opens downward. They are acclaimed experts in Mudavidya, the science of sweetness. They are acclaimed experts in Mudavidya, the science of sweetness. Mudavidya, the science of sweetness, is the essence of Black America. And considered authorities on the Soma drought. Peculiarly, the Ashvinis are famous for their honey lash or whip used to sprinkle drops of sweetened Soma upon the sacrifice and worshippers. Offering the Ashvinis the morning Soma drought, priests praise their honey lash. Bring hither nourishment for us, ye Ashvinis twain. Sprinkle us with your honey whip that drops with honey dew. Prolong our days of life, wipe out our trespasses, destroy our foes, be our companions. and our friends. The Rig Veda. In the Arthava Veda, an entire hymn is composed in honor of the honey lash. As the bees pile this honey upon honey, thus in my own person, O Ashvinis, luster, brilliance, strength, and force shall be sustained. O Ashvinis, lords of brightness, anoint me with the honey of the bee, that I may speak forceful speech among men. This is the Arthava Veda. An entire hymn is composed in honor of the honey lash, as the bees pile this honey upon honey. Thus, in my own person, O Ashvinis, luster, brilliance, strength, and force shall be sustained. O Ashvinis, lords of brightness, anoint me with the honey of the bee, that I may speak forceful speech among men. Another characteristic of Ashvini as it pertains to Black America is the ability to speak forcefully, right? You know, like Malcolm X, Marcus Garvey, right? They spoke forcefully. These were champions of Ashvini, right? They are forceful speakers, okay? A knowledge of their expertise in Mudya Vidya, the Ashvinis are served soma sweetened with honey or warm milk, Ashvinis. For you, with song of praise, this hot milk oblation soma is effused. This is your sweet soma juice, ye lords of ample wealth, through which ye think upon the foe, Rig Vedas. Their fondness for sweetness as well as guardianship over the soma drought is highlighted in the Ashvinis, Taittiriya, Brahmana, invitation, and oblation verses as follows. Invitation. So along with Asvayuj, an ancient name for Ashvini, let the two Ashvinis swiftly driving on their shining path come to us with their tractable horses. Let them come offering the oblation to their nakshatra after having been satiated with honey and adorned with the sacrificial formula, oblation. Those who are the physicians of the gods, the bearers of the oblation, the messengers of the universe, and protectors of the beverage of immortality, let them both, delighted in their nakshatra, come to us. We pay homage to the two Ashvinis and to the Asvayujes, their nakshatras. Okay. This is passages from the divine forces of the lunar nakshatras. Okay. So getting a more finite understanding of what the Ashvini is and how it pertains to Black America, that we could see all of the nuances and also the honey lash, right? The drops of honey, right? The madhuvidya, the signs of sweetness is the key, the direction that Black America wants to move towards. During this full moon, where there's a spiritual knot that could be untied and brought into fruition for the fructification of our uprising and strength and prosperity, love, peace, happiness, Ankh, Ujas, and Neb. This full moon is particularly, again, extremely important for Black America as we are in a moon Venus dasha, and moon controls our third house. Venus controls the ascendant in the sixth house of enemies, right? So whereas when you look at Venus, you're saying that Black America has a great propensity to be its greatest enemy, right? Right? Because Libra is a very strong sign. It's controlled by Venus. Okay. And then Venus goes to the 12th house. The 12th sign. Venus is exalted in the sign of Pisces in the 11th house of incoming gains. Okay. But there's a Pitradosh. So this is what causes the setbacks and obstacles. We got to look at Venus. We'll save that for another time. Okay. So enjoy the full moon. It is a time of reflection, understanding past life karmas, and past life karmas come into fruition in this life as well. Remember the passages of the orientation and definition of the Ashvini twins, the two horse headed, right? Twins, headless, with the capacity to not have common sense, not have the intuition that they need to rely upon more than the analytical cutting force of being logical and abstract. We need to use our intuition with the Ashvini in the 12th house. Right. Okay. This was just a short dissertation that my person wanted to share for the full moon in the community. And again, this here is the chart for Black America. Uh, we have some very key elements here, right? The K2 moon in the 12th house in the sign of Aries, right? Dealing with health, healing, and the signs of sweetness, moody, with the Madhuvidya, right? Madhuvidya, science of sweetness, is the object of Black America. Until we meet again, we say Zen Uru, Zen Uru, Zen Uru, Namaste, Ashe, 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 O, A, Hetep, 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 Ra, Ab, Rima, Amen. Thank you. And log in and subscribe, hit the like button. If you appreciate the video, we'll be more obliged to share more. Okay. Peace and blessings.
नमो नमः श्री श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् शमादिषट्क प्रदवैभवाभ्याम् समाधिदान व्रतदीक्षिताभ्याम् रमाधवाङ्घ्रि स्थिरभक्तिदाभ्याम् नमो नमः श्री श्री गुरुपादुकाभ्याम् स्वार्चापराणामखिलेष्टदाभ्याम्